Okay, quick little thing. Through this video, I refer to this as Fatsia Fatsia Needham's lace. Its proper name is Fatsia polycarpa Needham's lace. So, forgive me. Hi, and on this episode of The Plants, we are going to item 57, if you're following along in my brochure for my garden. Anyhow, number 57. This is Fatsia Araceae Needham's lace. I also found information that this is also referred to as Edward Needham form. Needham's lace is probably easier to say. So a little story on how this ended up in my garden. Early last year, I was watching Grow Paradise. That guy, I can never remember his name, but that guy out of Great Britain, he introduced me through his videos to 5 cold hardy Fatsia japonica, Fatsia araceae, these sorts of bushes. And I only had the standard Fatsia japonica, which I will introduce you to at some point in this series. So I collected all but one, and the one that he had shared was called Green Fingers, and I could not find that anywhere. I could not find that mail order anywhere in the US. Then one cold and blistery Friday morning last October, I was up on the peninsula here in Washington, the Kitsap Peninsula, visiting Far Reaches Farm and Conservatory. And I saw this. This is very similar to Fatsia japonica Green Fingers, but this is Needham's lace. And from what I could tell, and I'm going to get a Green Fingers because I think the leaves are a little bit different, not as serrated on the Green Fingers. So I'd like to see how they compare. So I snagged that up. I have since checked their website to try to get more information on it as I was doing my research for this plant. They don't even list it on their website, so I don't know, maybe I got the last one in the state of Washington. I checked Cistus Nursery online, they're sold out, but interestingly enough, they have Green Fingers. So perhaps I need to make a trip down to Oregon and pass through Cistus Nursery so I can get a Green Fingers. Who knows? Anyhow, this is Fatsia japonica Araceae Needham's lace. Last October when I planted it, it was about this tall, so about 18 to 20 inches tall, and from here up is all new growth. This was a spring growth. This came out early summer, and now we're here. So right now we're at about 3.5, 4 feet tall. I am told, and from seeing it on display in the shade garden at at Far Reaches Farm, it's going to get anywhere from 6 to 12 feet tall. It will grow 4 to 10 feet wide. It is a bush shrub, but 12 feet tall. That's going to look amazing right here off the patio. It is considered thought to be more cold hardy than some of the other Fatsia. Cold hardy from down to about zone 8. Fairly low maintenance. You know, I planted it last fall. It held its leaves all winter. We got down to about 20 degrees. It was a mild winter for us here in 8B. And then the spring it woke up. we had a dry spring, so I did water it periodically, but it is not on the irrigation, so it was not being watered regularly, and it seems to be doing quite well. I love how big the leaves are getting. That's very nice. It has not branched out yet, but I'm looking forward to that. My other Fatsias have started to branch out, so I'm hoping to get, right now I'm sitting in a pathway that goes from my fire pit area, patio, out to the greenhouse, and I'm hoping it'll create kind of a canopy that I can walk under, because it is just an absolutely amazing plant. But so this is Fatsia aurelia Needham's lace. Now, I've not completely done my research on how I'm going to propagate this so I can share it with friends. But down here at the bottom, there are some babies shooting off the sides. Looks like I've got 2, maybe 3. And I believe I can just tip those out, put those in some soil, and get those going. It's probably not going to be quite as easy as that, but if you know me, if you follow along, yes, once I figure it out, I will share how did I get it to propagate. But I like to consider myself a passive propagator. I will look at something and just figure it out. You know, I will try it in soil, I will try it in moss, I'll try it in perlite, stick it in the ground, see what happens. It seems to be growing at a pretty decent rate, so I'm kind of curious to see where it'll be in the next couple of years. But anyhow, I'm not going to drone on. If you like this, give me a like. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and give a subscribe. I will put a lot of the primary details in the description for this video. And then remember, this series, any earnings I make off of this series, or should you choose to hit that PayPal link, any donations through there are going to go to help fund me joining one of those plant expeditions that places like Far Reaches invites people to join them, exploring different countries, different hillsides, seeing the plants in the wild, doing some collecting, and just expanding on my knowledge, and finding more unique plants to add to my garden. All right, well, happy gardening. Until the next plant, see you real soon.